I would like to like have them make a rule that we don't get new maps unless they get forced into competitive.
Wow. You
that
got
is really
hated by every pro player that ever existed.
That's completely fine. I'm there already.
All right, explain yourself.
So when a new map comes out and there's this instant reaction to this is a terrible map. It might be a good map, it might be a bad map. That's not even important, but we need the best of the best in Siege to run through it and teach us how to do it. Like, that's not a secret. We hated Border to start with. And I played in Pro League back when Border was a thing. We couldn't find scrims. No one wanted to play that map. Everyone hated it. And boom, half a year later, most played map. Skyscraper, no one wanted to touch it. Boom, a ton of people playing it.
What about Coastline?
What?
How was that initially received?
50-50. Everyone was saying it was completely broken because there was a big hole in the middle and you could simply stand on the roof. Then what happens now? How often do we see people standing on the roof and holding it? I mean, in ranked, sure. But in comp, it's actually not that bad. Yeah. Everyone was playing Penthouse, even in comp, for a long time. Then people kind of realized that if you lose VIP or if you lose E stairs, well, then it's not even a bomb site anymore. It's just a death funnel for defenders, and retakes are immensely difficult. But that's kind of the, like, Sunrise Bar would probably never have seen play in ranked if it wasn't because we saw teams like G2 pull it out, right? Like, we need those new strats and new setups and someone to show us that if you put one impact hole here, well, damn, now the map's completely different. The fact that we are seeing bomb sites being played, that everyone within the first month said this is a shit bomb site, will never work. But we're seeing those are some of the most played bomb sites now with the highest win rates. That shows how bad we are at judging it initially. I think it probably counts for most maps, man. Like, the sites we think are the best to start with are very rarely the best.
Yeah.
Right? Gym, Clubhouse. That's going pretty well for a lot of teams.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And that looked like a terrible, terrible site on rework, to be honest.
Okay.
It's better for a viewer. Let's face it, the viewer wants to see the new map.
Yes.
When Skyscraper finally came in, it was a big deal. I remember that. So that would be cool for the viewer, but the first thing you'll hear from a dev from a pro player is, well, hang on, what if this shit unbalanced map is being forced upon us? We're being forced to play it.
Yeah.
And
give them 6 months. Done.
So you could say sort of in 2 seasons, this will be in Pro League. But would you necessarily see it?
Here, let me add an asterisk to what you said right there, Pete. What if we said this? Every year, one new map will be entering Pro League. Because if you think about it, we're probably only getting 2 new maps per year. So a foundation of Rainbow Six Siege is that every year we will be injecting one new map into Pro League Rainbow Six Siege.
I mean, it isn't that insane either, what you're saying, because we got Cafe, we got Clubhouse, Consulate, still fairly new. I know, it's been a while, but it got into comp.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Pete. Continue with your thought, and then I have a point to play on. No,
that's fine. That's fine. And I think what Zyronic said, Cafe, there was no debate. That's going straight in.
Well, okay. Here are the maps that have been either new or reworked that have been inserted into Pro League immediately. Villa, and I'm speaking recent memory. Villa, that is the last map that was brand new and inserted into Pro League immediately. What's the reception of Villa? I'm sure there is an edgelord out there in the comments of this video that's going to say, I hate Villa. It's the worst map in the game. But generally, Villa is well received. For if you're looking at any of the newer maps in Rainbow Six Siege, I would say Villa is the most well received map. Okay, Cafe, rework, inserted directly into Pro League immediately. Clubhouse rework inserted into Pro League immediately.
Consulate new bomb site.
Consulate, absolutely. Yeah. So if you look at the history of either new maps or reworks that were inserted into Pro League immediately, they're all well received. If you look at the ones that aren't, they're not very well received. So I guess the question is, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
I was going to say it's chicken and egg, because
Yes.
maybe the pro players had more involvement or more consultation with those maps, and that's why they were more willing to put it in, which I'm guessing is what you were about to say.
I do not believe that, because if that was the case, then the old maps still played the same way that they were when they left competitive. So if improvement slows down or stops because less work is going into it, and I think people don't give competitive players enough credit for how much goes into like learning how a map works in a team. We're not talking about finding one cool angle, right? Everyone can do that. But you need to know where's the other one's going to be at what time, what operators have an influence on this map, how likely are we to get a flank off when this happens or this happens. That whole process stagnates and just basically goes to a full stop whenever the map leaves Pro League. It happened for Skyscraper. It happened for Chalet. It happened for Oregon. Right? Like, we need that constant new drive from people that have trophies on the line on those maps. That makes us play different because we see what they do, and otherwise every map just turns into a football field and we're just all playing football and nothing changes.
But the flip side of that is it can get kind of boring, you know. Say Skyscraper with the Montaigne push. That can, for a viewer to watch, or when. Yeah,
but so that will only ever be for one season or for one match, because like with more operators being introduced, so that wouldn't be an issue now, right? Like that Montaigne push wouldn't work. You're gonna rock Lesion and Goyo, or you're gonna C4 from below and smoke them out, or whatever. Or you're gonna start running Castle, Goyo, Maestro, and they simply can't afford to bring a Monty because they needed more destruction to get through it. But the problem is, if we stop with Skyscraper the second the Monty was a thing, then that's as far as we get with most things. I can't remember when I've seen anyone do a new cool strat on House, for example.
Yeah.
That it doesn't really happen. And it's not so much to say that it's because as if it's the ranked players or the community's fault. Far from. When I jump into a ranked game, I can't afford to try every single possible way of failing, because that will just cost me games. But a competitive player can, because they need to learn every failure point. They need to try everything and see if even the dumbest stuff maybe works, right? And I think that helps the community more than people think, way more. So even if it's just one ranked map, one map a year that gets forced into competitive, we need that for the rest of the community to enjoy the map as much as possible. Otherwise, it's wasted man hours on fixing maps that a third will love because they're new, and a third will be completely indifferent, and another third will absolutely hate them.
Yep.
I'd rather tilt it a little bit towards everyone learning more about the map, and then maybe you'll not enjoy the map, that's fine, but maybe at least you will know how to play it. Because that's going to make your disenjoyment, if that is even a word, less of that map. It's much more pleasant to play a map that you don't like but know how to play than to play a map that is new, that you don't like, you don't know how to play, and it's just, you just feel uncomfortable in that whole thing.
Final note, because we got to get onto this quiz. I'm excited to see what Pete has in store for us. Just initial knee-jerk reaction to the theme park rework so far. You guys enjoying it?
I think it's more defender-siding than it used to be. But I'm enjoying it, yeah.
I'm enjoying it as well. I think of any map right now that's not in competitive that maybe should be, that would be probably my leading candidate to throw that into competitive right now. I'm enjoying it a lot. And I agree with you on the defender sided, but let me ask you this. I think a lot of people, like, for example, Throne Room, for example, to me, that site is not defender favored as long as you open up enough of the walls. There's three walls there, and if you open 2 of them, the defenders are in bad shape. As long as one of them's the north, that's the one by the yellow stairs, and then you open either mechanical or barrels. If you get holes in both of those walls, the defenders are in a really bad situation. But as an attacker, if you're forced to come in through one of those 2 doorways at the end of the round, yeah, you're going to die, and it's defender favored. So I don't know. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there real quick. I'm enjoying that rework, and all in all, I think the reworks over this past year in year 4, if we're looking back on the map reworks, extremely well done. I mean, like we're in a good situation now when it comes to maps in this game, and a much better situation we were at the beginning of the year.